Okay, this is Axe Media Group's broadcasting a special report here on the border in Texas and Mexico. My guest today is a pastor. She has been a pastor in both on the Texas and on the Mexico side for over 35 years, Sheila?
Over 35
And by the way, this is Sheila Shidler, and we're down here in Weslaco, Texas today to talk about the issue of birthright citizenship. Axe Media Group, as you know, and myself, Jim Whining, has been very concerned about all of the developments that have occurred here on the border as a result of the illegal immigration that's going on. And so we thought we'd take a time and just visit with a person, a pastor who knows what's happening both on the Mexico side and on the U.S. side, and reflect on it, not necessarily from a legal standpoint, but more importantly about what's really happening here and how it may be affecting our country. So Sheila, first off, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And tell me, how long have you actually been down here? Is it 35 years?
We moved here in August of 1992, so it's really 33 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you were in Mexico originally, right?
We moved here to, we were youth ministers, we servants with our pastor in our church, and we felt God's call to missions. And we sought the Lord for a long time, and finally we knew it was Mexico. And so we came here, went to language school, and it's not just a language school, but to learn a lot about the culture, and then graduation, and off we went. So we spent 18 and a half years, the first 15 years, 450 miles south of this border into the state of San Luis Potosí in La Sierra, which means mountains, up in the highlands, working with the Nahuatl tribe of the Huastecan Nation. And that's indigenous people.
Yes.
That's primarily who we worked with. And then
I must add that she is also my wife and my Spanish teachers. She and both her husband are not only pastors, but Tom and is also very fluent in Spanish and able to communicate in such a way that it makes a very important difference in communications down here if you are bilingual. It just
very
is.
much so.
And my bilingualness doesn't do me any good because there's not too many Germans down here. So, but anyway, Sheila, go ahead. Don't let me interrupt you.
No, that's fine. Then we spent an additional three and a half years in the state of Tamaulipas in the town of San Fernando, which is a huge drug trafficking town.
I think I have a hat from that town, don't we?
And it's,
Gosh, they give them away.
And so a lot of history there.
Mm-hmm.
We love the Mexican people. Let me make that very clear. We love the people of Mexico. We love God and we love His people.
Did you live there in poverty? Was it pretty poor?
Well, we had a little apartment, not much bigger than this room, but the people that we ministered to, several of them lived with bamboo kitchens, bamboo parts of their house, and very primitive. But our idea of poor and their idea of poor are not equal.
Yeah.
They're not the same, and they could teach us a lot about living within what you have, and using it well.
So would you say that the people generally in Mexico see going to the United States as an opportunity for a better lifestyle?
Okay, this is kind of a tough question, because part of what you're saying, yes, so, but Mexico has very wealthy people. Don't misunderstand. Very, very wealthy country, but it's a two-class system. Mm-hmm. You have the wealthy and you have the very poor. and the wealthy do not assist the very poor.
Yeah.
They may employ them, but at a minimal, seriously at a minimal.
Yeah, I was amazed to find out that the educational system for the children in Mexico ends at 6th grade. And they have to have private education to get past to a high school level of education. And so there's many motivational reasons to become a U.S. citizen. Or to just be living in the U.S., because you can pretty much access all of our services whether you are or are not a citizen.
That's true.
So what do you think about this issue of birthrights? Recently, if you're not up to date, President Trump passed a law which essentially came against the 14th Amendment of the Constitution dealing with birthright citizenship in the United States, which says, in essence, if you are born in the United States, even of people who are not U.S. citizens, you qualify as a U.S. citizen, which immediately then allows your family to be in custody of you in the United States. And that is where we introduce your observations.
This rubber meets the
The
road.
road, yeah.
Because just to say, oh, hey, I'm visiting the United States this week, and oh, I happen to be 9 months pregnant, and oh, I'm going to have my baby, and my baby will be a U.S. citizen. That's nonsense. The 14th Amendment was written, in essence, about slavery.
Yes.
That if they were here living. They weren't here passing through. They weren't visiting. And this has become a huge issue. But we have observed through several years of, I worked at our local hospital after we came back off the mission field. And we would see pregnant women sitting in the waiting room.
Here in Weslaco?
Waiting to have their baby so that baby would be a U.S. citizen. I need you to recognize that our town is just about 5 miles north of the Mexico border as the crow flies. So we're very close. And many people from Mexico come here seeking medical services, and many people from the United States and Canada come here going to Mexico seeking medical services.
Yes.
And so it's frequently traveled.
Yeah.
We have known of other missionaries that would bring pregnant women over here to have their babies so that their babies would become U.S. citizens. This is an issue because it's not just that they become a U.S. citizen. They now have rights to all of our social services. That child is required to be educated. So they're in our education system. I want them to be educated too.
Well, the minute they're born, they get a Social Security card.
Yes. That didn't used to happen.
I know. But it's the way it is now. I know that, yeah.
And so now they're in our social system, and it's not just baby 1. It's, oh, next time I'm pregnant, baby 2. Next time I'm pregnant, baby 3. And so now we have huge money being imposed upon taxpayers of the United States to pay to someone who has never contributed a penny to our social system, and that child may grow up to be a doctor here in the United States, and that would be lovely. That's great, but either way you measure it, it's theft.
I know what you're saying. What grabbed me, Sheila made a comment on Acts Media Group's Facebook page about an observation that was made about, and I don't even remember the article, but I remember her response, and she was dealing with how it's almost like my veterans friends would call it stolen valor. Okay, when you're using something for your benefit that you don't qualify for, and this particular stolen valor means having no intent to be a U.S. citizen, but yet trying to use U.S. citizenship to benefit your lifestyle, whether it be in the United States or principally in Mexico. And she had made that remark, and I thought, honestly, Sheila, it was like, I missed that. How do I miss that? I mean, it just flew by my head. I never thought that would happen. And now, after your comment, then I'm just, in my mind, you know how your mind will play games? I'm sitting there in the waiting room, and I'm looking at a whole bunch of pregnant old ladies that are waiting to have a baby so they can go back to Mexico. And now that's in my mind. And I hope that wouldn't be but it is.
For many decades, people came here from Mexico to work in the fields, migrant workers.
Mm-hmm.
They were amazing people, hard workers, seeking a better life. Yes, and brought their children with them. Their children worked alongside of them. I taught school 2 years in Southern California, and many of my students were migrant children. I'd have them for 6 weeks, and then they'd be gone.
Yeah.
It was very, very difficult to educate them. But I applaud their parents for doing what they could to educate their children while working. This is not the system we're under anymore, though. It's people from Haiti, from Iran, from China. We had people that have come from all over the world, some really bad characters, up through this southern border.
Mm-hmm.
And now that they're here, we're going to let them have babies and we're going to call them U.S. citizens. And they have no desire to be part of America.
But the key seems to be to stop them at the border before they get in the waiting room. Right?
The difference, Jim, is there's legal migration.
Mm-hmm.
That's what our country is open to. We love migrants. But just opening a floodgate and saying, oh, come on, any old body, y'all just come on over here. That's where we have a problem.
Yeah.
And it is a problem.
So if technically if President Trump gets his wall done and the line is separated between Mexico and the United States, and all the people that come through the Darien Gap and all this other are blocked, then this issue of birthright citizenship for people who are taking, as you said, and I agree, taking advantage of the U.S. citizenship would end because they couldn't get here to deliver their babies. Wouldn't that be true?
That is true. And right now we have a significant
There's a no in the crowd back there.
drop.
They still come across that missionary that would bring them in his automobile through the port of entry and slip them through, smuggle them in.
Yeah. And
Are you aware of a person that does that?
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah. We
Unfortunately,
don't know.
I am too.
We don't know where he is now. But I will tell you, we would have friends ask us, will you just take me over with you? Just take me over with you. Once we get to the other side, I'll disappear. And we would have to say no.
Yeah.
Mostly because it's against our law. It's against the law of our land. And if I understand Scripture, it says to obey the laws of your land. To obey the laws as best as you can, unless it supersedes God's law. Now,
That's the coin.
that's
the message
the
of the
other
coin.
side of the coin. That's the truth.
I preach that. How are we doing on our time? Are we good?
Mhm.
When we talk about birthright citizenship, okay, how do we deal with if we are going to successfully effectuate a border, and which I think we will effectuate a border, the next step is then, how do we handle and I've heard numbers of 8 million to 22 million. How do we handle that the birthrightness of all these people that are here already? Do we just say okay? What do you think the practical approach to that is?
Boy, I don't think you can take away their citizenship. I don't think you can now go take that away.
The history of the United States is we have taken away citizenship during active war.
Mm-hmm.
You know, during World War II, we took away the citizenship of Japanese.
Yes.
And of course, people that came over here from the United States were indentured servants or slaves were never citizens of this country. And in fact, in Georgia, they were buried, you know, in the ocean. So, I mean, we've done that. I'm trying to figure out, because I know this country, there's no way 3/4 of the states would have agree on the day of the week. And I know that the Congress probably is never going to agree with 2/3 majority in anything. So how do we live through it and not be inhumane, but yet be Christian in our love for others, but recognize the importance and the integrity of being a country? I don't know.
I don't think we can turn back time. I think we can only move forward. And we must be sure that people that live in this land abide by the laws of this land. I don't know how we're going to make that happen either.
Well, don't you think we need to get the criminals that came over?
Those are
those
headed
have
out.
to go.
They're headed out.
And then there's the other block, which is probably the greater block, people that are here illegally. Literally not even green carded. They're below that.
They have no green card.
Yeah,
they have nothing.
Yeah.
But the problem was, and here's the issue, that you will find out when you talk with Sergio, is they would come in through the border, and the Border Patrol hands are tied. They cannot even put them in the system. They can find out their names, their age, who they're with, that kind of thing. But they can't even put them in the system. And then they just have to send them on their way.
You let them in?
Yeah. That's what was happening for 4 years.
Yeah.
Period. And so now...
Don't they have court dates that they're supposed to answer back to? No.
Not with the masses. The masses that were coming were not even being given
a
court
date.
dates.
Yeah.
And so now, what do you do about the ones that are here? Well, you know, if they're troublemakers like the Tren de Aragua, those guys, I'm glad. Hey, yeah, get them out of here.
Yeah.
We don't like thugs here. But
well, by the way, I don't want to miss out on letting people know, yes, where we are doing this little interview, and we might do another one here in a reasonable period of time. And the name of this restaurant is
Weslaco's Daily Grind.
Weslaco's Daily Grind. It's right off a street we all should remember. For those in Missouri, it's on the Missouri Street in Weslaco. How easy is that, guys? You in Springfield and Kansas City and St. Louis, and this isn't hard. We're on the Missouri Street here. And the name of it is?
Weslaco's Daily Grind.
Okay, and I want to tell a little bit about her husband, Tom, and Sheila, and they are with the Shidler. They are with the Crossroads Church, Community Church, here in Weslaco, and they do a tremendous service to a resort that Pam and I live in called Snow to Sun. And they also have a fantastic Bible study. And in fact, right now they're dealing with the book of Acts. And for those of you who enjoy reading the book of Acts as the beginning of the Holy Spirit into our lives, it's a great time. And these are Christian people giving a humane attitude about how to approach a very difficult subject, even for those who've made wrong choices getting here. And so if we could all work together in peace and love and harmony, solutions do have a way of appearing, which we don't see right now. But the first thing we have to do is come forth with truth and observation, because we are gaining that in our experiences in life. We want to thank you for listening to this little program we had today, and especially to our guest, Sheila. And Sheila Shidler from Weslaco, Texas, pastor there with Crossroads Church. Thank you. Good day.